Well, now it's WA's turn. Other states have had to deal with coronavirus escaping hotel quarantine. The Victoria experience shows it can have devastating consequences. Now the pressure is on Western Australia after a Perth hotel security guard tested positive and was in the community for several days while infectious. More than 2 million West Australians in the southwest of the state have spent their first night in a 5-day lockdown. Reporter Rhiannon Shine joins us now from Perth. Rhiannon, g'day. So how have people responded to the lockdown?
Hi Joe. Well, in a word, shock. It's a surreal feeling here in Perth this morning because it's been 10 months since we had a case of community transmission in WA, and it's been pretty much life as normal. In the past week or so, we've had Fringe Festival, thousands of people there. We've had the Big Bash. Those events have now been moved or cancelled. But yesterday we went into a snap 5-day lockdown. I'm at Coles in Maylands, a suburb where the security guard who has contracted COVID-19 spent a lot of time in the past week or so. But in terms of how people responded at shopping at supermarkets like this, there were queues out the door, lots of panic buying. People were stripping the shelves ahead of this 5-day lockdown. And that's because we haven't been through anything like this before here in WA. So there was quite a bit of anxiety and fear in the community. The government's urging people not to panic, definitely not to panic buy, but of course to get tested and to follow the rules. The question we've been asking for a long time is the state prepared for the possibility for an outbreak? And now our contact tracing and testing systems are really going to be put to the test.
Yeah. And so take us back through the timeline of this. When was this security guard working at the hotel? When is it thought that he probably picked up the infection? What type of infection is it? And where was he in the community and for how many days while infectious?
Sure. So what we know is this is a man in his 20s. He was working at the Sheraton 4 Points Hotel in Perth City, and that's where international arrivals have been quarantining. And we know that on the 26th and 27th of January, he worked 2 12-hour shifts. We also understand that he was working on a floor where someone was positive for the UK variant, that highly transmissible variant of COVID-19. He's yet to return a positive test for that specific variant, but the Premier has said that we can expect that is a high possibility. So he had tested negative on the 15th, 17th and 23rd of January as part of routine testing of quarantine workers. Then he tested positive late on Saturday night, and that's triggered this 5-day snap lockdown. The government's also released a list of 16 locations where he visited in the past week or so since the 26th of January. That includes this Coles in Maylands. This whole Maylands shopping district, in fact, if you live or work around here, you're being asked to go and get a COVID test. But also a number of other sites, as I say, they're all on the WA Health website, but it includes a hairdresser's, a university, various supermarkets and petrol stations. He covered a lot of ground in that time. So people are being urged to check that list of locations and get a test if they're on that, if they visited one of those sites.
And what does the next 5 days look like for people in WA?
Very different. We're all being asked to wear a mask if we have to go outside, but don't leave your home unless you need to. That's if you have to go to work, if you can't work from home. But other than that, gyms are closed, bars are closed, restaurants are closed. We've seen this all before. It's a really hard lockdown, and he's responding hard and fast to this one case. We're yet to see if it's led to more community transmission, but the idea is that this will buy some time for contact tracers to get in touch with anyone that may have been exposed to the virus.
And Rhiannon, yeah, I understand schools are closed as well because it was supposed to be the first week back, wasn't it? Have you heard that any of them are trying to conduct online lessons for this first week and get things started?
Well, that's right. It was the eve of school returning, so that caused a lot of panic for parents, I know. I understand the government was working with public and private schools on how they were to deliver lessons this week, but obviously it's very short notice and quite a shock. So I think they're still working through a lot of those details, Joe.
And Rhiannon, so through this week we'll be very keen on hearing the updates from WA health authorities. This is kind of like the first time we've been doing this because there have been 0 cases in WA for so long. We've been focusing on other states. But yeah, through this next period we'll be very keen on hearing those announcements each day on whether more positive cases have been picked up. So when has that generally been happening in WA? Is there a specific time that we should be listening in for those? And are there other people who've been tested who are close contacts of this hotel security guard, and is it promising that they've tested negative so far?
Just on that point, he has housemates, this security guard. They've all been tested and they're in quarantine. I understand we're still waiting on their test results, but the government has said we can expect that would be positive results, but they are in state-run quarantine facilities now. In terms of the daily updates, they have been happening regularly, and I would hope and assume that we will be getting regular updates from the state government. You can, of course, follow the ABC and also the government websites to get the latest.
Okay, Rhiannon Shine reporting there from Perth.